Hi, welcome to If I Did a Show where we analyze and solve pure kerfuffles from a world not beyond.
Got nothing. I still haven't come up with a sound effect meme. Sorry.
That's good. I'm happy with this.
And so are some of our viewers. I'm your host, Lexi Old. Join me as always, Kid Nate, Bloody Elbow, and Eugene Robinson from Aussie.com.
I gotta say though, you gotta go back to the old tag out at the end of the show.
Why?
You just got to. It's classic. I love it.
Man.
The fans love it. Everybody loves it. It's great.
Yeah, cats. I'll see it again and again.
People love it.
In the Kid Nate world of democracy, everybody is him.
Yeah. And that's Eugene Robinson from Aussie.com and author of Fight Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Ass Kicking, but were afraid you'd get your ass kicked for asking. Collective MMA Pancholes.
Pancholes!
Now, we had a last-minute addition to the show. Eugene?
Oh, man, the Shevitz.
You're Conor McGregor.
Conor McNuggets.
Rita Ora posted photos of you and her, captioned, Date Night. Live and in public, if you will, while your baby mama was allegedly at home with the baby.
Dealing with Irish gangsters at home.
How should you handle this kerfuffle?
Well, it is pretty clear. Like I hate to turn everything back around to me, Eugene Robinson, not Conor McG, but I remember having this girl I was going out with get sort of angry at me, and she out loud went through the thought process of it. And then she goes, and at the normal turn in the road where you'd go like left and you'd be like really angry, she gets there and she just goes, but fuck, it's just Eugene, you know? How can you get angry? I take the meat, I put it on the floor, the dog eats it. You're not going to get angry at the dog. It was really super fucking predictable. You give a crazy Irishman $135 million, probably, as now I'm Conor McG, this is what I'm saying. Baby, if you give a crazy Irishman $135 million, anything could happen day, and that's happened for the past month. I'll get my act together. Hang in there. Or not. I got to head to Ibiza and dance on a table with a cardboard cutout of my face, on my face. See you in a bit. Give a kiss to the baby for me. I mean, really, if you don't know, if you haven't seen, if you have had the good fortune to not be exposed to a friend, a family member who's in the grips of something like this, the $135 million is really the least of it. If you haven't been exposed to somebody who's been in the grips of something like this, it's really super fucking unpleasant, unfortunate.
Clinical narcissism?
No, man. If you really believe that's all that's going on, you need to hang around with a different crowd. That's not all that's going on, right?
So clinical narcissism plus $135 million plus cocaine? I don't know. Just wild guess. Like,
if you had to ask me, given what I know, what I've heard about illegal narcotics, I would have to say a dollop of cocaine, a dash of ecstasy, MDMA, and probably a healthy scintilla of weed backed with alcohol just to get the thing, and crystal meth in there for good measure, because if you're going to party that hard, you want to be awake for it. That would be my guess. Yeah,
just a pure guess, so we're not saying this about anybody specifically. Just saying that would be an unfortunate combination to put together. That's
correct.
You know, yes.
If I saw a car that rear-ended another car, I might correctly have figured out that, you know, I mean, I'm deducing. I'm deducing.
You sure you're not inducing?
Yeah. So if I'm Conor McG, I go, what the fuck do you? Hey, I am blameless. You know, I'm as blameless as a snake that bit the turtle, or the fox that ate the chicken, or whatever those adages are about the swimming across the river and type comes home.
It's the scorpion and the frog, Eugene. It's been a while since you read your kids, hasn't it?
Yeah, because my kids are like 21, so yes.
Well, you know, that's still, it's been a while, Eugene.
It's been a while.
Showing.
So that's what's happening. But what do you do about it, Conor? What do you do, Eugene?
I just said I'm not even throwing myself on the mercy of the court. I'm saying rain, wet. wet rain, ice cold, $135 million, Irishman. This is the reality. This is the new fucking reality. At least when I come home, we don't come home to a hovel. I can't, come on, get off my back. I mean, I have no defense as Conor McGee, getting put on Front Street. I mean, clearly he knew where that was going to end up. You think she's got to leave it in her phone? And even if she left it in her phone, people steal the phones all the time. He is not giving a shit about going. Most guys would be on the soda voce. Yo, I got a wife. I got the kid. Maybe you don't, baby. Hey, it's private. Nah, he doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't give a fuck. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Come and get me. What are you going to do? They're not even married, so it's not like she can fucking lean on getting half of that shit. Well, look, how about this, baby? I give you $5 million. Fuck off. Fuck off. Remember, and you fuck off, and you fuck off, and you fuck off.
What about palimony?
Fuck off money.
But yeah, huh? Palimony.
Palimony. Do you remember palimony?
Yeah. Well, they would date it if you've done the investigation. She could make the claim that all the suffering that she did to get him to where he is means that she should share proportionally in the profits. And he could say, I don't recall her 7 years ago getting punched in the head. I'm glad to give her 10 mil. 65 is a little bit out of the question, and not a single court in the world would disagree with him, unless she got herself a good lawyer.
See, where do you find the time, Eugene? Not only have you perfectly matched that crimson shirt to your crimson poster behind you, but you've now mastered Irish divorce law.
And the things I know, my friend, the things I've forgotten, you don't even know. So
clearly. Well, I'll just jump into my advice. Dude just says, hey, I sat down to take a picture. She made too much, I'm a star. She's dazzled.
So you're saying a lie. Because if you think he didn't put it in the pocket later on that night, whoop, whoop,
that's ugly speculation. That's ugly speculation. And maybe me. I was home early. It was nothing. I'm a star. People love me. I can't help it.
You never kisses on the first date.
That's the line.
Hold on. No. This is actually serious business. Are you suggesting, as Conor McGregor, that you would stand in front of the mother of your child and tell a bald-faced lie?
No. I'm just because I have no idea what happened. I'm just saying that what you tell her is, Rita Ora asked me to take a picture with her. I took a picture with her. She put it on social media. Honey, don't overreact.
Huh? She wrote date night, not me. Wishful thinking on her part.
Exactly. You don't have to say anything beyond that.
You
just say the facts that she asked me to take a picture.
Okay.
There's no lie there.
How many Irish women do you know? Like from Ireland?
Too many, but that's not very many.
Do you think that you could get away with that with any of the Irish women that you know?
With $135 million, how many Irish women you know drop babies per dude with $135 million? Huh? See, that's
what is that great line from P. Diddy? He's I'm sorry. I'll go. He goes. He's talking about dragging his mink on the floor. And he says, any bitch fucking with me, believe me, that's a privilege, And I scoffed at that line when I first heard it. I think any bitch fucking with me, believe me, that's a privilege. And I started to think, you know what? The guy's almost a billionaire. He's probably right. I mean, I don't tarry with too many billionaires. And if I was tarrying with a billionaire, it would probably be a privilege. Man, look at this yacht,
Well, you're building up the case, tarrying with people with tarrying with billionaires. One guy who definitely knows about that, Nate, you're Dana White.
Oh.
The Detroit Free Press slammed your UFC 218 Detroit event as lacking star power, production value, and entertainment. Quote, here it is. Dana White, if you're going to bring a UFC event back to Detroit, you've really got to bring it. Come big or don't come at all, end quote. Should you respond and modify your future fights in Detroit?
Regardless of the newspaper article, which was rife with mistakes, including misspelling Ronda Rousey repeatedly,
Ooh.
None of which
Ronda.
I knew a guy got fired from Austin American Stadium for misspelling a dude's middle name once. So that's bad journalism. But the point of the article was spot on, especially the bit about I asked Dana how the product had changed since 2010, and he said not at all. It's like the world has changed, the game has changed, and you sitting on a stale ass product you hadn't changed in almost a decade. Change it up, Dana. We always tell the fighters there's two parts to good PR, one of which is talking the right amount of shit. Dana does that pretty well, although it's also stale. But number two is fight your fight in the cage. Dana is not fighting his fight. He's not bringing the product. Like back in the day, he would blow people away, even if a mainstream reporter went to UFC in 2007 and didn't know jack shit about any of the fighters. He would be able to tell from the fan reaction that the fans were stoked about the entire card because that's how they had it going on back in their heyday. And now they have wrung out so many dollars out of so many fans that they're jaded and bored and restless, and the card, it didn't have star power. I'm sorry. It had some really good fights, and it had some stuff for people like us to talk about and enjoy. But it's not a fight I would bring home to fight card I'd bring home to mother. I mean, it's not impressive in any way, shape, or form. My wife checks in on these things. She was like, "Who's fighting?" And I tell her, and she's like, "I'm going to go to bed." You know, it's just like there was no casual fan interest on that card. And if casual fans tell you they were bored by the card, they're customers, Dana. They're called customers, and they're always right. Listen to the customers.
Man, unless they're commenting on YouTube.
Well,
I never thought I would end up sort of. Look, you know, you think Detroit has a leg to stand on in terms of passing judgment on anything, on anything.
That's so racist to hate on Detroit, Eugene.
It's got nothing to do with racism, man. I'm talking about facts. I'm talking about mayors going to jail. I'm talking about the bus being
framed up by the man.
Yeah, the bus being steered in the culverts. You got bigger fish to fry in Detroit than worrying about the UFC. But now that you are worried about the UFC, there's a word that Yates used to use called gyre. I, for a long time, thought it was pronounced gyre, and it looks like an hourglass. And it's supposed to be like an infinity sign on its side, and it just things go up and they come down. They go in and they go out. There's a cyclical nature to MMA. What's disorienting now is that clearly the people who are in charge of making this happen don't give a shit about it. But outside of that, it'll bounce back and forth like any sport does between hardcores and the deltas, the growth deltas, the casual fans who come in and maybe two-stick. You know, what kind of conversion rate do you expect in direct mail? If you get 5% in a direct mail campaign.
In 2017, I ain't using direct mail.
I'm just saying direct mail. Okay, all right. If you were doing direct mail, 5% is good. 1% is terrible. A conversion rate of 2 to 3% is fucking probably reasonable. So if we go into fights that are, as you described, for the fans only, if we go into fights like that for the fans only, and we peel away 3% of the deltas, that's fine. Your wife doesn't represent that 3%. She probably represents the 97 other percent of people who are not in the football, not in the hockey, not in the field crew, not in the gymnastics, not in the track and field.
She's watched her share of UFCs and dug them.
But what I'm saying is the sports don't. I mean, how many casual football fans are there at this point? You'll watch it on TV, but buying those fucking tickets to get into the stadium, nobody casually is doing that shit. That's a lot of money to drop for casual, right? So baseball games, it's a lot of money after it was $1,000 you could drop at the hot dogs, the parking, this, the that, the tickets for the kids. You know, you could spend a lot of money. So there's nobody. The casuals convert
There's
at a
plenty
rate.
of casuals that drop it, especially for something like UFC that's
What's
like
a casual?
at one time was novel.
What do you say, Kat? What's a casual? A casual football fan goes to the stadium to see a game how often?
You can't even get tickets for the NFL. That's like a thing. Like it's
okay. So you write off.
You have to be a casual fan who has an employer or a friend or part of a corporation that has tickets, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go to the suite. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that sort with baseball. But I'm talking the production values. I'm not even talking about the fights. I'm saying you're still doing the same exact montage video you've been using.
What I'm saying is, I'm not going to allow you to fucking rain on my parade. I felt pretty good after UFC 218, and I know lots of other people.
Myself.
Yes, and the Detroit Free Press wants to raid on my fucking parade. They can take it on the arches.
I saw the web traffic for this card, and it was dead. It was flat. We've had fight nights that did better than this. We've had
I know because I looked around the wine bar, and the old guy and his father, who usually usurped that front seat that actually lets you hear what's going on, they weren't there.
Yeah,
they weren't there.
People didn't come. People didn't watch.
7, 8 people, but people didn't care because they didn't care about this fight as much as the fight nights of the past 2 or 3 fight nights where there was like one care have started to chip away. But even that chip away is cyclical.
But you know what, Eugene? I think you just revealed the reason behind your Danification of your answer, which was asked, by the way. You hope that this trend continues so those guys don't return to those seats at the wine bar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be that the old man died. I knock on wood. Heaven forbid. I wouldn't want that on the old guy. But I'd be just as happy. I mean, my interest in counter very much to the UFC's interest. I'd be just as happy if nobody showed up at that wine bar except me ordering glass after glass of water. That would be an ideal situation. Sit there on the couch, my wife napping there next to me because she's bored out of her mind, and just drinking that water and watching the fights.
Reverse Jesus.
Yes.
Wine into water. So some of that stuff that people don't want when you talked about the fights. Eugene, your Reebok.
No.
Your fight kit wardrobe malfunction resulted in another embarrassing and unprofessional moment last Saturday night at UFC 218. As a result, the fight was paused live and in public, if you will. And the footage was deleted from UFC's Fight Pass. Do you owe the victim of said wardrobe malfunction, Angela Magnana, and the UFC, another victim, an apology?
You know, an apology is not going to get them to unsee what you've seen. An apology is not going to unburden her from, undue embarrassment because the world saw her titty. Whatever momentum was there in the fight, an apology will not undo, because I'm sure somebody could make that claim. An apology is not going to make Gilbert. An apology is not going to make, a gear that nobody wants, something somebody wants. They've mismanaged it. They've botched it from the beginning. And if you don't know, like I know, that everybody's just waiting for this nightmare to be over, you need to know that. So apology, nah. If I were the guys at Reebok, I would just go, fuck. I mean, here's a check. $100 gift card. That's their style, right? They give it a gift card for more Reebok gear. I mean, maybe you chop a designer off. Who designed this? You find somebody, some sacrificial lamb, and X them. But I mean, I want to say you can't get any lower. We're Reebok. We can't get any lower. But I know that's not true.
I think they could if they incorporated professional wrestling into the fights with the fight kit. Pops first. Whether a malfunction happens first, there has to be some kind of stipulation. Fight's over, or you get to use the titty as a weapon. I don't know.
Or if they did like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where they have a special F brand and they have the 4 Fs on the edge, and people look at it and they go, in a certain light, in a certain way, you squint your eyes, that looks pretty much like a fucking swastika. And somebody at Reebok goes, oh, no, it's just 4 Fs. Yeah, but look at the way they're put. They look like swastika, and the red, black, and white that you've used is very. I don't see that. I don't see how you see that. I mean, there's nothing, man. There's nothing they could do. Give her a fucking check. You know, I mean, that usually keeps people quiet and happy. But don't be. I mean, if I say a check, hey, you know, one of my favorite stories is this guy, Brinks truck drops a bunch of money out the back. Guy finds it, and he goes home to his family and talks about what they should do. And if they have different opinions, he goes, "I'm going to turn it in." He turns in the bags that have $500,000 in it. All right, everything's cool. The bank decides it's a big story. They want to reward his honesty, and the bank gives him a reward. You know what the reward was?
A toaster.
Take a guess. No, not a toaster. Nate, you want to take a guess?
Gold watch? Gold watch?
Nope. $50.
$50.
Wow.
At the point when the bank gives him $50 on $500,000, his kids start getting beaten up in school. His wife is unhappy. Guy subsequently got divorced, and the bank, shamed into this, says, okay, and then they gave him $500.
Oh man.
If they had given him $500 to begin with, he probably still would have been married and his kids wouldn't have been beaten up in school. But the 50 was wrong. So Reebok, scratch a check, no gift card, no sports kit, not $50, not $100. Give a check. Give whatever, you know, you would give with this crazy tiered system you have about sponsorship. Give that to the woman. You know.
What would you do, Nate?
I think this is a bottomless hole. I don't think there's anything you can do to salvage the situation. Yeah, cut her a check, but they're not going to cut her a check, so because they don't care. They've never cared about any of this. They're putting out a subpar product. It's just they don't care.
Maybe do it on purpose. Think about it.
Yeah, I don't think this is the time. This isn't the year for that. So I mean, yeah.
We tried to make your fights must-see TV.
That worked great for the Super Bowl with Janet Jackson and everything. Trying
to get after the Janet Jackson Super Bowl, even though it wasn't her fault, that ruined her career. Maybe there was some conspiracy. Let's look at the fighters. Look at the fighters who suffered wardrobe malfunction. Valerie Turneau. There has to be some kind of conspiracy there, man.
Who's the guy who said he was going to Dennis Hallman?
The grape smuggler. No, those are the days. We had a little thing called freedom back then.
Well, we also had something called the internet, and Eugene, you're WME-IMG, and the
also
internet
known as Endeavor
is a buzz about a gamer who got away with illegally live streaming UFC 2 by pretending it was EA Sports UFC gameplay. How should you handle this hilarious kerfuffle?
You got to bring this guy. This is like being hacked, you know. And you got to bring that guy in from the cold. Look at it, look what they did to that child molester, Jared. Right? This was just a fat guy eating sandwiches. Somebody got a gander at his story and goes, let's elevate this guy. Let's make him the story. You got to do something. That was super fucking clever, man. You got to bring that guy in from the cold. Don't fine him. Don't punish him. Make him part of the team, because it's that kind of thinking that might make your company great again.
What about you, Nate?
Now I'm distracted because I saw like an onion bit on Jared. I'm into adults now. Quiznos hires Jared, and his slogan was, "I'm into adults now." And
I saw that.
Neither here nor there. I don't know. I got nothing on this one. I got nothing. Eugene said everything.
You're not fearful though, Eugene, that if you bring this guy in, it's going to encourage other people to outdo him.
I used to fight pros and write about it. And at one point, I was fighting this pro, and I didn't know that he got what was going on. And so I said, "Hey, you realize I'm gonna try to beat your head in out there." He just looked at me and laughed. He goes, "You should." I mean, if somebody could come up with something more clever than that, go ahead. We'll bring you in.
Well, here's the thing.
Too,
And now I got something. It's too clever by half, dude. When it's this cute and it gets this much exposure, game over. I mean, he played himself. It's like,
yeah, you're a nattering nabob of negativity. Give it up. That was good. The guy probably he's got a lot more where that came from.
You think he's got a follow up to that? I don't
Probably
know.
not. Probably not. But you know.
But I think that you have a follow up, Kid Nate, with your heel turn.
Well, I do. I don't know if you guys noticed that Floyd McGregor came out and said that he carried Conor
Floyd
McGregor.
McGregor.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather came out and said that he carried Conor McGregor in their infamous boxing match.
You just said Floyd McGregor. Sorry.
I just say, man, anytime the M word, anytime I use the letter M, it just comes out McGregor now.
Might as well. He owns it, right? So fuck it.
Yeah, it's just I've been in MMA media and it's his world. I just blog about it. Yeah, I mean, and Mayweather, coming out and saying he's carrying McGregor, like, what is the point of saying that? You beat the guy. You shouldn't have taken the fight in the first place. I mean, now you're just rubbing it in the fans' faces that you're just taking their money for a complete charade. Like, what point does that serve? I mean, Floyd needs to ask himself, is this true? Maybe. Is it helpful? No, it's not helpful. Is he that insecure? He needs people to feel like, I mean, he's like got to compensate because he didn't knock the guy out until the late rounds. Like, come on. I mean, there was no shame in taking a couple rounds to knock the guy out, like 7, 8 rounds, whatever it was. Why is he doing this? Why? There's no point, no purpose served. It's just self-inflicted bad PR.
All right. Okay, look, you've seen the movie Kill Bill, right?
No, I didn't.
Really?
I had given up on Quentin Tarantino.
All right, well, there was a
I
line.
did part 1 and 2.
Okay, there's a line in it. David Carradine says, "Hey, I'm a contract killer. When I get upset, what do you think I'm gonna do? I'm sorry, So I have to say, these guys are fighters for very specific personality-bound genetic reasons. You think this guy's sitting at home? What the fuck do you think he's doing? Oh, thank God I don't have to train today. Well, that clears up about 12, 13 hours. What am I gonna do? Well, I go in the studio with my hip-hop dudes, make a record. Okay, well, that clears up another hour and a half. What am I going to do? You got to find a repository for this. And if it's as easy as tweeting shit, as we've seen given the president that we have, why the fuck not? If I could set the world aflame.
This was an interview, I think. This wasn't a tweet. This was an interview. He sat down and said.
Yeah, but I know the point is not there was a tweet or not. The point is saying shit to set shit aflame. And if you think, look at Conor McNuggets and look at what $135 million has done to him. But I mean, this Mayweather's a model of fucking restraint. If he's going to restrict it to saying shit that pops into his head for whatever reason, why not? In
as much as he is long-term probably squandering his money, he's a dude who's had $135 million before. This isn't his first rodeo. He knows better than this. This is an experienced man of the world. Like,
yes, but you say he knows better than this, like he broke an ankle, or like he crashed a car, or like he set his house on fire by accident. Well, I mean, what's the downside of this? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck?
I guess. I mean, there's that. I feel like
I would hold a press conference and say, I'd like the press conference. Oh, man, Mr. Mayweather, yes, Conor McGregor has halitosis. Thank you very much.
I just think it's pissing in the face of your fans, and he's not R. Kelly, to just rip him off and then brag about having ripped him off. Like, keep the kayfabe, dude. That's all I'm asking. Just keep the kayfabe. And just,
hey, listen, some girl was dumping me once, and she's standing on the sidewalk in tears. And I go, look, you don't have to cry just to make me feel better about this. And she goes, oh, okay. Just like that. Fuck. Don't get played, man. Oh, you want him to, this is such a tough fight. No, you know what? I prefer the straight thing. I want the straight deal because I'm peeking behind that curtain, and he says what I secretly believed anyway, and that was all right. That's come on.
Let's peek behind the curtain of the Lost Battalion, Eugene.
Oh my. Well, you know what? There's something I got about kicking guys when they're down. Of course, while that violates my sense of fair play, it also makes the most amount of sense because he's down there by my feet, so I might as well start kicking him when he's down there. but But I mentioned this. If you watch Knuckle Up, I mentioned this. I mean, is it any doubt that Overeem? It's hard to say whether he's lost Battalion or Event Horizon because we don't know what he's thinking now. But yeah, Lexi's doing the slow fade. I mean, I think I did hear something from some of his team about how he's all right, he's okay, he's still one of the top, and I was like, as soon as they said he's still one of the top,
top Pez dispenser.
Yeah. That's right. The mist fog, the wood pile.
Oh,
check. I mean, he hasn't said anything himself, but dude's not going to be right after that. Not by any stretch. More importantly, if he's going to try to bump around the top 5, face dude again for whatever fucking reason, nah.
Unless Stipe does that to him. Unless Ngannou does it to Stipe, then he can be in the like, oh yeah, that happened to me too.
Yeah.
Who did that happen to?
That might offer him a hand out of the mist, but I don't even know that he's in the mist now because I haven't heard him say anything coherent since then. What's cracking me up though are the things that Stipe is like. Say he's responding now. He's got a response. It's like, yo, bro, are you paying attention to anything? Are you listening to what the jungle is saying? You got to get out of Cleveland just a little bit. Try hanging out in Vegas. Specifically, try hanging out in the closet of the office of the guy who runs your fucking company. Between him, you, and Ngannou, who do you think he favors? Man, you could pay Ngannou with some fucking goats. You'd be happy. I mean, not literally. No, you can't. Come on. Easy on the comments. All I'm saying is you got one guy who doesn't know the value of money and another guy who's asking for 15 mil. Who do you think the bald one's going to favor?
The chump. The sucker.
You got one guy who's out of Cameroon, who's just happy to not go back to Cameroon, and now they're making noises about him fighting Joshua and making the crossover. He's like, shit, all I have to do is stay semi-viable in MMA, line up, and then I could do this big money fight over here, get 135 mil too. On the basis of that knockout, why not? So it seems like Stipe, who's been sitting around and not fighting because he's supposed to be involved in some heavy-duty contract negotiation, might, take pictures of yourself with the belt, man, because you things are starting. Tide is turning.
Yeah, but you got to calculate the brain damage aspect of this. Like, in 10 years when Overeem's eating porridge, toothless and brainless, Stipe probably going to have his faculties about him. And he's made this calculation, like, it's not worth it to me to risk my health and shave years off my life. I mean, did you see the way Ngannou hit Overeem? Yep. I mean, I wouldn't be doing that for less than 15 million if I was Stipe. Fuck no, you got to set your price and hold to it, man. Or you're just going to be.
Yeah, at this point now, I'd be asking for that Nate Diaz type money. Yeah, but he full on. I mean, and nobody under 40 will get this, but that was a full on Tetley T moment. If you remember those commercials, the Tetley T, where the guy would fall backwards, splashing in the pool in the Tetley unconsciousness. That's just what that was. So yeah, so I got, and also sadly, there have been requests from the Peanut Gallery to talk more about Spider Anderson Silva, and I've not wanted to. But he's also made it hard for me not to because he keeps saying stuff. He just needs to hold it down and please be quiet. And also, you notice that I didn't put Jose Aldo in the Lost Battalion, even though his team has fought back against thankless Brazilian fans who have now turned on him. And he said, "Look, this guy's always a champion. He doesn't do. He never fights another fight again." But these are tough places to be, and I guarantee you, he knows exactly where he is now, Jose Aldo. So Lost Battalion is not it, but like I said, that's not the worst place to be. Event Horizon is the worst place to be, and with Jose Aldo having one more fight on this contract, it made me actually sad, like sad. I almost ordered a glass of wine, then I realized I'd have to pay for it, and I just left the bar sad.
On that note, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter, Eugene S. Robinson, Lexi Kid Nate, Facebook, MMA Pancholis. Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
Dang, 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 dang,
Leave
dang.
comments on YouTube. Subscribe to MMA Nation on YouTube. MMA Nation on iTunes. Visit Bloody Elbow. Buy Oxford's Thin Black Duke, where fine music is sold. And immediately following the show, check out our new show.
Which he means right now. Right now.
That's right. The shoes fit. We'll be back next week with another installment of If I Did It. And we don't know what we're going to be discussing because the PR mistakes have yet to be made. But the ones